Alright, just getting a few things situated and making sure we're good to go. Let's see. Let's see. Hey Daniel, how are you doing? I'm doing all right. I just joined the weekend. The weather's been nice and all that fun stuff, and we had a pretty exciting race today for sure. We'll definitely talk about that. Like I said, I'll see if I can get a link I can share and get it out in the open. Here we go. So like I said, we'll do a couple mock races today, and we'll talk about some different stuff, and have a fun little announcement for a fun little thing we can do on streams. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I was surprised not to see Alan do his Polish victory lap after winning Motegi. I'm sure he did. As a matter of fact, he probably did. Obviously, I did it for the 500 because that was such a big marquee win. Of course, the international race is a marquee win too, but just something I didn't think about when making the video. But I'm sure he did his I'm sure he did his Polish victory lap for a race like that for sure. Indeed, it is a Sunday night, and I'm under a light because the light is on in my room. So I guess that makes sense. Let's see, Sunday Night Lights mock races. That's not how you spell that. There we go. All right. Let's see, Daniel, Benjamin, how you doing? TV8s, how you doing? The Winston West cars. Yeah, because I think in real life, I'm pretty sure in real life some Winston West guys did run those races, so that's where I got those schemes. And of course, the infamous Big Daddy's barbecue cars, which you ever considered trying broadcasting from. I actually did call a couple of iRacing races in the past, and I'm totally open to doing it again potentially. They were fun, and yeah, I mean, if broadcasting's always fun. I've actually have done play-by-play for high school sports and stuff like that, and all that. Let's see. Oh gosh, Daniel, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope your mother will be okay. Yeah, that's right. They ran those Winston West cars. Yeah. But, yeah, so just want to start things off with talking about SNL 98, which it's already on the road to 2,000 views, which is amazing. Thank you guys so much. Already underway on figuring out stuff for 1999, of course. That's going to be a fun one for sure. And looking back on it and just seeing how different the sport looks in 1998 compared to in real life, I feel like it kind of feels like something that I feel like NASCAR, this is what NASCAR could look like. And it still can look like that. So, just having all these different superstars, going to all these different places, amongst everything else, having these major moments, this is what racing can become, is something truly special. And that's something that, we want to showcase with Sunday Night Lights. And, yeah, I've loved how everything has come together so far, and Well, I guess you could say you ain't seen nothing yet, right? And we've seen a lot, Shauna Robinson being a champion and everything else. So I'm sure she'll be okay. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm glad. I hope can't speak today. I hope she'll be okay. I run a Tuesday night online NR 2003 league. Usually it's nice. Nice to see NR 2003 leagues are still going strong to this day. I used to be in a bunch of offline leagues back in the several years ago. So, Corvette, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. I can't think of anything that would outdo Shauna Robinson's Cup Championship. And it's like, I was sitting there watching, I've been following NASCAR for 20 years now. I'm 27. I was 7 when I started watching. Every now and then I think to myself, I feel like I've seen everything. And then something happens. I'm like, oh, I think that's a first, Yeah, Patty winning that International All-Star race, to me, that's a big deal. Because that was a female star beating not only the best stars of NASCAR, but also some of the world's best, outside of NASCAR. So that's a big deal on its own. And I think it's really fitting in that Atlanta race, that season finale in 1998. I think it was fitting. It was a storybook moment. Kyle Petty looks strong, and then Patty Moyes wins, and Shauna Shauna wins the championship. And I wish I would have done it, but I felt like they would have had a moment that Chase Elliott and Jimmy Johnson did in real life in the 2020 season finale. I felt like they would have had that kind of a moment because it was just something that's special, And I was like, sometimes NR 2003, it just writes the story itself. So let's see. It was nice seeing Shauna Robinson win the title. My online league has attracted drivers like Mike Seneca, Willie Mullins, Matt Kemp, and Tim Goulet. Nice. I got to talk to him recently. Well, I'll talk more about it later, but I do have a podcast. He was actually the first guest we had on since Michael and I brought the podcast back up. So I've got to hang out with Tim and Rita and Rise Motorsports. Those guys are amazing. They're hardworking. They're awesome. Just a great group of people there. It could attract more female drivers for sure. International would be interesting too. That was a race that... Again, the entire world saw that race, right? They're like, wow, that's wild. And it was a good race too, and looking back on it, it also changed the trajectory for a driver, Kenny Brack, right? So he's trying to make his own footing in NASCAR. He's improving in the Busch Series, and obviously he might be a talking point in 1999 for sure. Excuse me. We have Kelly Williams already in SNL. She's Canadian, right? Yes. Yes, I think she was the first female to place either it was a podium or a win in CASCAR. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but let me check. She became the first female to capture a win in CASCAR. Yeah, okay. That's what it was. So yeah, she's already in there. Yeah, sky's the limit on what could happen. There's so many drivers making their way up. There's just so much competition. There's so many good drivers out there right now. And it's going to be interesting to see how everything nets out in the coming years for sure. As we go into 1999 and, of course, into the 21st century. It was a qualifier, but it still counts. Okay. That's what I thought. But yeah. So technically, she is an international female driver. Which, again, kind of a big deal, right? Now we had Patty, then Shauna, then Tammy Jo, then Kelly Earnhardt. Now we got Kelly Williams. And, who's next? Right? Who's next? But, talking about the race real quick from today. Thought it was a great race overall. Nothing too insane happened, I guess, besides the Walmart sign falling on the track. I was pulling for Daniel Suarez to win that. Man, he was so close. He was so close. And, but, I mean, he had a great race going there. Those Penske Fords, they're good. They're really good on super speedways. So, overall, that was a good race. Nothing too insane happened, which is good. Stephen Rhodes, yeah, absolutely. Fun fact, bringing up the podcast again. We did talk to Travis Shoemake, who's a openly gay owner driver in NHRA. Super awesome guy. He was fun to talk to, and he did bring up Stephen Rhodes during that podcast as well. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, this is for everybody, you know. The biggest thing, too, is I know NASCAR gets hit with the stereotypes all the time, but this is truly a sport for anyone. Anybody can enjoy it. Everybody can enjoy it. You know, everybody from different walks of life can come to this event, can come to these events and see something truly spectacular. So, that's what I want to encourage is like, hey, you too can enjoy this. It's not the usual what you're thinking of. It's more of, hey, check it out. Watch a race. Go see a race. You would be amazed. And that's why I think, personally, attracting casual fans are important. It just brings in new and more exposure to NASCAR. I wanted Daniel Suarez. Yeah, man, Suarez looked great. I knew once Chastain lost that momentum coming to the white flag, I knew that Suarez was in trouble. But, man, he put up a fight, and he had a good points day, so he's won on a road course. He's won at Sonoma a couple years ago, so who knows, right? If he can come out of Watkins Glen with another good finish and get the most points that he can, he might be in a good spot to make the round of 12, right? So, and that'll be good for Trackhouse. That'll be good for him. Good for that entire team. I want to see Kyle Busch win. Yeah, I would love to see Kyle Busch continue his streak. I mean, dating back to 2005, he's won a Cup race every year. That is remarkable on its own. I mean, that is insane. I mean, to be that successful for so long. I mean, again, he's been doing this a long time. It started when he was, 16 years old in the Truck Series in 2001. Now look at him. He's a future Hall of Famer, first ballot for sure. And I would hate to see him not win. Plus, it's just one of the guys that I grew up watching. So, we had as many as 2 female drivers in some races. My online league has had at least one. Oh, nice. That's awesome. Do you think SVG wins on an oval? Never say never. He's had a few good runs. He's had some good runs on the ovals. He's also kept the car clean. He had that really good run at Phoenix. If things had played out differently and the leaders had run out of fuel, he might have won Atlanta back in February. I mean, heck, Indianapolis, he was 4th. If I was at that race, if Herbst, Custer, and Almirola had wrecked on the final lap, SVG could have won Indy, which would be awesome. I think Shane Van Gisbergen can win on an oval. I think he's good enough to do it. He's done a great job this year. And yeah, you could say, well, he's been good on the road courses. Well, yeah. He's won 3 times this year. That's pretty impressive. For a guy that even a year ago had never ran on ovals. I think Shane Van Gisbergen is doing a fantastic job. And I think he's going to surprise some people in the Cup Series next year. I think he will. Speaking of which, yeah, the 88, I wasn't expecting that, but doing something a little different, totally fine with that. His old Supercars team runs the 88. Well, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I don't, I admit, I'd love to follow Supercars a little bit more, but, I think it also shows that there's a lot of good drivers that come out of there. I mean, Scott McLaughlin, right? I know he did Supercars, and he's doing a great job at IndyCars, so it's good for Supercars that their own drivers are branching out, and now they're succeeding in different leagues at different levels. So, SVG could, if SVG puts himself in good enough of a spot and he can get, Watkins Glen's next week. Then there's the Roval, Marcos Ambrose. Yep, he came from Supercars. Yeah, SVG could find himself somehow in the Championship 4. I mean, the possibility to me is there. It really is. Yeah, you know what? Let me move on to some other stuff here. I want to talk about paint schemes and, of course, get to the first race we're doing today. But yeah, speaking of Marcos Ambrose, I remember the first time I heard of him. I went to the 2006 truck race at Kentucky, since that was always the track I went to growing up. And I remember in that race, he started on the pole. And I know he kind of struggled throughout the race, but a lot of people were talking about that. And I even I was a kid, I was like, hey, that's really cool to see a driver like him from another country coming over to race in NASCAR. And I think Marcos did a fine job for himself. I think he did an exceptional job. He did a great job. Got a couple of Cup wins. It's hard to win in the Cup Series. No doubt. So, all right, let me move over to NR 2003. So, I want to go and show some of the alternate paint schemes because I kind of dabbed a little bit into it in the video, but I figured I'd at least show you guys and the different kind of schemes and who made them and stuff of that nature. So this is a paint scheme that Jet made very late. It wasn't shown in the video at all. Yes, the legendary Fred Jones. SVG is going to be the Rusty Wallace of Stock GT when he arrives. Honestly, you never know, right? Again, yeah, I'd love to see him in the Championship 4. I'd love to see it. But yeah, this is like Jet's Racing Designs made some of these alternates as well. He's here to answer questions. If you guys have any, he's here to answer questions if you guys have any. But yeah, this was a late scheme that was made, so it wasn't in the video. This was a Ralph Earnhardt tribute paint scheme that Kelly Earnhardt ran at some point during the 98 season. Again, it wasn't shown in the video, but it's in that download on StuNud. It's a nice, of course, it's a nice tribute to Ralph Earnhardt, for sure. Do you prefer seeing drivers run the same scheme most of the time? Back then I would say sure, but also I feel like the economics have just changed so much over time, and I've accepted it. Sometimes you just got to adapt to how the world changes, and so NASCAR is in a position where it's really hard to find sponsors that can fund the entire season. There's a few. Ally's doing it. I know Dollar General and... Not Dollar General. Family Dollar and Dollar Tree. They're doing a lot of races this year for Legacy and stuff like that. So, this one you saw in his wreck at Road America. This is something I put together. Obviously, Brett Favre being a co-owner of this team. They're racing in Wisconsin. Got to do the Green Bay Packers car, right? So, shout out to any Packers fans out there. I know y'all just had that Sao Paulo game. And, as a Bengals fan, it did not go well today. And we're playing the Chiefs next week. Whoopee. But anyway, this was the 90s. The Bengals were awful then. But yeah, my online league uses the BR15 mod. That's cool. I always like that these mods have different templates of the different manufacturers like that. I've always loved that. It just gives more creativity for stuff like that. This was, so yeah, these two schemes I made. This is a Gillette paint scheme. I just basically used a gradient for it, but I really liked how it turned out. So yeah, that was a Gillette paint scheme. Tim Steele. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he ran this race. He ran this paint scheme in Motegi as well. So I give an anti-shout out to Packers fans. I know you do. I give an anti-shout out to Steelers fans because, sorry. No harm, foul, or anything like that. The Kansas City Swifties. Oh, yeah. I think the Gillette scheme could use some more blue. Yeah, I mean, again, I wasn't so sure when I started making it, but I was like, I kind of want to do some sort of fun little gradient to all that. Okay, so Roast Jam made these 3 alternates for Casey Elliott. Just different renditions of the Pepsi cars he talked a little bit about in the past stream. The Diet Pepsi car, of course. Love the white on this one. And of course, the infamous Pepsi One product from around this time. And then, of course, a good old Mountain Dew car. Can't go wrong with that, right? And, of course, he also made Roast Jam also made this Cherry Coke car. Because, deep down inside I was thinking, we got to do... Because I remember thinking, oh, yeah, didn't Cherry Coke have that, that edgy-looking theme to their products? And they did, so it's like, we have to do something with it, right? So, that's what we did there. Kelly Canuck. Yeah, I mean, Dale Jarrett's Cup career hasn't panned out in this timeline, but I feel like in this universe, he could become a really good car owner. And I mean, they're already showing a lot of success. This is Jet made this one. It's just a champion gold paint scheme celebrating Shauna's championship. I just love it, And plus, it's just special for, to celebrate NASCAR's first female Cup champion. This is just like a generic Sunday Night Lights car that Jet also made. He made a next few of these. These look just absolutely fantastic. This is like a program car or something like that for Louisiana Motor Speedway for their race that year on the Hardee's 400. Same deal with the new Talladega and the Winston 499, the race is called. Fun fact, I didn't really bring this up a lot, but I also have a sheet now where I do have race names for each race on every series now. So that's something I'd like to just, add on to, sprinkle more onto some lore and stuff like that. Jet also made this paint scheme, the Tim Richmond retro scheme that he had at Riverside, home to his first Cup win when he drove that car back then. Obviously, when it comes to making M&M's paint schemes, I feel like those are really tricky to make. So, I think Jet did a really good job with this, doing something a little bit different, showcase a little bit of a different flair. Felt like we had to do the M&M's alternate at least. So, that's what we did, and I think it came out really well. So, Kenny Wallace drives the 4. This is Kodak, because Kodak was actually a sponsor of the Olympics at the time, and this is sponsoring the Nagano 1998 Winter Olympics. A spreadsheet of race results. So, obviously, there is a link to all the results in the video. I eventually need to get to creating a separate sheet for you guys to look at and just see all the different winners and all that from all the races so far. I am working on that, and I do want to get that out here at some point. So yeah, this is Kenny Wallace's Winter Olympics paint scheme, and Rob Moroso, you saw this a little bit too, the inverted Haviland Chevrolet. A car that looks beautiful under the lights, for night races. Jet made this one, turned out perfectly beautiful. Let me know which one's your favorite so far, by the way. Comment down below what's your favorite. Jet also made this Mac Tonight car. Obviously, So, I don't have a great way of keeping track of DNQs, I admit. Maybe that's something I could work on for sure down the road for 99, 2000, stuff like that. Yeah, the gold design for the Champions Bank. Yeah. So that's what inspired Jet to make that Shauna Robinson car. But yeah, here's the Mac Tonight car for Jeff Gordon. He took a different spin with it, and I love it. Looks great. But of course, for this time, got to go with the Mac Tonight car. He also did a World Cup 1998 paint scheme. I love how this one came out. This was it France? Yeah, France hosted it that year, 1998. So, and of course, in real life, they just hosted the Summer Olympics. So, yeah, just a great paint scheme from McDonald's. It's fun coming up with these. And this is the Animal Kingdom car. You saw this a few times. This was a promotional McDonald's did during that year. Jet also made this paint scheme. These McDonald's cars are just beautiful. Absolutely love them. And yeah, again, this is something that we'd like to do moving forward, is just making more alternate schemes and showcasing them and stuff like that. NBA Platinum scheme for Ernie Irvan. Rare France W. Oh, bro. Hey, man, I may have some fans from France. Be careful. Anyway, I'm kidding. I'm messing around. Yeah, Ernie Irvan's NBA Platinum car. I think that was a real life NBA Platinum. So we just kind of did something with that. The Tampa Bay Devil Rays, which are now the Tampa Bay Rays. Of course, they were an MLB expansion team in 1998. This is a paint scheme that Davey Allison ran in the Pepsi 400K at Daytona. And, yeah, so a little bit of a gradient look to it. Jet made this one. Of course, with that old retro Devil Rays look. And fun fact there, story from my dad. He was on a business trip in that area during the time that the Devil Rays started playing in '98, and he actually got tickets to the second ever game in their history, and their first ever win in history. So there's a fun little fact there. So yeah, give me just 1 second here. I'm going to mute my mic real fast. Sorry, folks, had a quick phone call I needed to take care of there. So yeah, Davey Allison. Here's a couple of vaults that Jet worked on for Bubba Nissen. The Goodies orange feel to it. And there's also the Navy look. His roommate hijacked him. I own the stream now. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, I'm glad you love them. Like I said, there's just something special and unique about all these kinds of different paint schemes. There's a different Coors Light scheme, something that would run the night races for Bill Elliott. It is number 9 car for Elliott Melling Marino Racing. Jeff Green. I made this one. So, obviously with Gateway having a cup race already, and of course in 1998, a memorable moment that happened in the MLB was when Mark McGwire snapped and broke the single season home run record. So I did something special with that, with the St. Louis Cardinals on the car, the baseball laces on the side, and Mark McGwire's name celebrating. You can't see it up close, but it does say new all-time single season home run record or something like that. So love how this one came out. Then we got the NBA Finals cars, because there's the Team Nike Racing thing that started for 98, and part of that for the first Michigan race, Jeff Gordon drove a Chicago Bulls McDonald's Ford in the Chicago Bulls colors, and Dale Earnhardt with a bit of a different look here for the Utah Jazz Bit of a purple look to add to the the usual black GM Goodwrench Service Plus car. You like the Bulls paint scheme? Yeah, I figured a lot of people would like that, especially with Michael Jordan. Of course, that dominant team the Bulls had in the 90s. So yeah, there's some of the alts I can show you guys. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the first race that we're doing tonight. Yeah, I just love how these cars came out. Alright, so we're going to do the Super Sportsman Series for 1998 Super Sportsman Series. And we're going to go to the Vancouver APT track. Is this the right one? Let me check. You know what? That might be the street circuit. I got my Vancouvers mixed up. Stand by and I will fix this little problem. So, if you guys have any questions, of course, feel free to ask. Yeah, that is not the Vancouver I was looking for. This is not the Vancouver track you're looking for. So I will grab that track. I thought I had it somewhere, but that's totally fine. Shout out to Action Pack Tracks too. So got their website. Got some really cool looking tracks on there. Let's see, fictional. I thought I had it saved somewhere. Oh well. That is A-OK. Get that track downloaded. With the West and West cars. Oh, if I Oh my god. Yeah, I forget. Streamlabs OBS. I'm going on rambling, and Streamlabs OBS likes to just mute me for no reason, so I apologize. But yeah, with the Winston West stuff, it could be a fun little stream race to do at some point for sure. Alright, let me... Should be good to go now. But yeah, it could be a fun little goofy race to do at some point in the stream or something along the lines of that. What are your thoughts on the potential NASCAR street race in the true Queen City of Cincinnati? Well, as a Cincinnatian, trying not to be biased, but I would love it. I would absolutely love it. I think it would be awesome. I think they could make it work. I think they could do it somewhere in the banks in downtown or something like that. Yeah, I think it'd be great. And plus, it would help fill in a void for this market because, Kentucky Speedway kind of served this market, right? So it would fill in the void and to come to a place like Cincinnati that has, I think, a lot of history with sports. And then, of course, you think about the Oktoberfest, German heritage. Finding ways to celebrate the city itself with that event would be awesome, for sure. I would absolutely love to see it happen. So, okay, so I fixed a little problem. I apologize for that. Got the Vancouver tracks mixed up. The new and improved North Wilkesboro looks nice. Thank you. Yep. Of course, that's an edited track, but again, it was something that, looking on it, this is something that the track would have to have done if they wanted to stay on the Cup schedule long term, and found a way to make it work. So, I'm glad it all was able to work out the way it was supposed to. I would love to see more street circuit concepts done by NASCAR for potential cities. It could possibly influence. Sure, I mean, I would love to see what other cities are interested. I know San Diego's been talked about a lot, which would fill in a good void because right now we don't have that SoCal date. Yeah, San Diego would be great. I think it's good to see that there are a lot of interest from different cities. I think that's really good to see. SNL Universe Custom Diecast should be a thing, especially using old beat-up racing champions that's been played with. So yeah, this is a fictional Vancouver track made by Action Pack Tracks.
Drivers, to your cars.
We'll have 125 laps. Rich Bickle on the pole. We got Jay Sauter next to him. Toby Porter, Kelly Williams, Buckshot Jones, Steve Park. All right. Ron Barfield Jr., Kerry Earnhardt, Jason Jarrett, Stan Barrett, Casey Atwood, Chad Chaffin, Curtis Markham, Andy Houston, Mario Goslin, Jeff Purvis, Bill Bigley Jr., Bobby Gearhart, J.D. Gibbs, and Lyndon Amick, Ashton Lewis, Brett Sontag, Andy Kirby, Max Presswood, Billy Venturini, Jimmy Foster, Michael Rich, Randy Porter, Rick Baldwin, Pete Orr, J.D. McDuffie, Robbie Reiser, Mike Cope, Robbie Crouch, and Russell Phillips. And there is your starting lineup for this race. The four main cities I heard is Cincinnati, San Diego, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh. Yeah, those are the main cities that have been discussed. What would Allen's 500 post-race interview be like? I think it'd be very humble, considering where he started and where he is now. Just something like a dream come true thing. He'd talk about, this is just a dream come true. I've worked, it's like we worked so hard to get to this moment, and everybody at AK Racing just deserves this moment. And I think Ernie would be, because I know Ernie Irvan was in the running and Kawicki kind of had to make a move. I think Ernie
start your engines!
Startled me for a moment there. I mean, I think Ernie would have said, I'm proud of Allen. I'm glad the team got a win, even though I didn't win. I'd rather have Allen pass me for the win than we end up wrecking, something like that. Here's a Paintsky idea. What if Jeff Burton drives an Ed, Edd and Eddy car? Oh yeah, that show does pop up around 99, doesn't it? All-time classic there. Hey, I mean, still in the thought process of a lot of things, so we'll see what happens there. All right, 125 laps around this fun little circuit. It would be kind of cool to hear Mike Joy call that too. I think it would be pretty cool to hear him call that for sure. All right, and we're underway as Rich Bickle tries to take an early lead here. He was winless in the Super Sportsman Series for 1998. We got Jay Sauter, who was fire hot throughout the season. He takes the lead. Do they stop doing the combination racing? I'm not sure when they stopped doing it. I guess it would have to be sometime during the 90s that they stopped doing that. Oh, you found an ASA late model diecast of that? Oh, that's pretty cool. To think in the multiverse theory, there's a timeline where this canon is lore. Where this is the canon lore. That is true. I think that's definitely true. Just something a little different for Adam to do. Putting him in a truck, because at this point he was starting to do some ARCA stuff and all that. And we just decided to go the route of him trying some truck and bush races at this point. And obviously, Adam Petty made quite a lot of noise in the truck series early on. I always thought Patty would win the title, but Shauna pulled a Matt Kenseth 2003. Yeah, like I said, I remember I posted the poll about who you guys thought was going to be the first female Cup champion. Again, I posted that before I did any race for 1998 Cup. Before I did any race there. And, the fact that the timeliness of that was just funny, in my opinion. To see how that all played out. Yeah, it was cool to see them do stuff like that back then with the West Coast races and the Winston West series. I just wonder what number Adam uses when he goes to Cup. Well, I guess time will tell. Even I can't really predict that right now. It's just something we're gonna have to figure out when we potentially get to that point, right? So, Jay Sauter out to over a 1 second lead already here in this race. Hey Corvette, how you doing, man? Battle for second here between Toby Porter, Rich Bickle, Kelly Williams, Steve Park also in the mix. Andrew, how you doing? Well, it's all good. It's all good. The 43, as in Super Sportsman or Cup? I remember how much energy surrounded Adam entering racing. My dad still has his shirt from 1999. Olderberry was still a huge Kenny Irwin Jr. fan, too. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Adam Petty is definitely one of the biggest what-ifs out there in NASCAR. He was really just getting started. As of 1998, Bobby Hamilton is in the 43 for Richard Petty. So, let's see. The Days of Thunder 2 story is basically Cole Trickle. He's been kind of slumping, and basically he tries to find his footing in the truck series. I've had a lot going on, so I'm just trying to remember everything off the top of my head, but I think Jet, if you're still there, you might be able to explain it just a little bit better as I'm trying to jumble some things here. Seeing Jimmy, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, and Adam Petty in trucks is wild. Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's just crazy to look at all that. And, now we're seeing all the drivers that people like me grew up with, over these past several years. Now they're making their way up in this timeline. Yes, Shauna Robinson won the Busch title in 1993. So, yeah, she won the Busch title then, and just 5-6 years later won a Cup title. As Toby Porter and Rich Bickle continue to fight for second. Kelly Williams still back there. Meanwhile, Jay Sauter is practically gone. So I'm just kind of watching this fun battle for second. It kind of surprises me how Jay Sauter really didn't win this title. Oh yeah, part 2 of Fork in the Road's out. Be sure to check that out if you hadn't. RCR definitely looks hot. Yeah, that Vegas wreck was wild. But, And our 2003 is just like that sometimes. Yep, Shauna and Nemechek won in their first Daytona 500 attempts. Yeah, those fork in the road crashes were pretty bad. Yeah, and I've had instances of that, and if a wreck that looks just that crazy or unrealistic, I just kind of say, well, I can't really. It's just way too unrealistic for real life for me to say a driver got injured. And again, I said, no deaths. Nobody dies. I do not want to kill off a driver. That's been one of my rules since starting this thing. Yeah, Tim's still winning a Busch title. That is pretty special on its own. Because, again, he was kind of a major what if. He was about to get this really big opportunity to run Winston Cup and had that awful injury in a test crash. So, to see him do this and win the Busch title is pretty special. The first SNL Daytona 500 with a double flip. Starlight, how you doing, man? So as you can see, the leaders are starting to catch some lap traffic here. Yeah, Jay Sauter has checked out. Andy Hillenberg has attempted some Cup races. Kirk Shelmerdine's been crew chiefing, most likely, like in real life. I think Tim Steele would have been a major force in the 2000s had he not got hurt. Yeah, I mean, plus, he had so much experience in ARCA running on those tracks already. So, like I said, I just thought it was really cool to see that. And yes, he is a little bit older than some of the other prospects, but he's not like, he's like 30, and I think he has the potential to do something special if or when he gets to the Cup Series or if he decides to defend his title. Of course, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Every Super Sportsman champion so far has been a second-generation driver. Huh. That's a good point. I didn't realize that either. Yeah, Dale Jr., David Bonnet, Kerry Earnhardt. Yeah. Have you used the Colorado track from Stunod? I want to say I did. Did I use it during the stream? Because I think I used it and a wild finish happened. I think Shauna wrecked from the lead and Rusty won, or was that a different track? I thought it was that fictional Colorado track. I think it was, yeah. I think I've used it. Yep, we are currently at the Vancouver Action Pack Tracks fictional track. So yeah, there's that. So her winning the Cup title didn't come out. Yeah, it didn't come out of nowhere, and honestly, Shauna's become a megastar. It started with, her winning the Busch title. Then she won the Daytona 500. Then she won the Brickyard 400. And then she really started to come into her own as a driver, and now she's a Cup champion. She has checked off everything. Right? So, Vancouver, Washington, yes. That's what this, yeah. So, Let me see. In the 90s, 2000s, we would see drivers retire in their 50s, so a prospect at 30. Yeah, I mean, we're still at that point where drivers raced into their late 40s, early 50s still. It just kind of depends, because over time it started to shift towards that drivers were retiring more in their early to mid 40s, or in some cases, their late 30s. So, there was that shift there where in the 80s and 90s, it was very common for there to be 35-year-old rookies. Of course, now in this day and age, that's kind of unheard of. Of course, there's been some examples of that, but, yeah. Surprised Rusty Wallace isn't a 20-time champion. Well, I know some people probably don't want to hear this, but I do think Rusty could potentially win another title or two. There's always that potential that he could be a 7-time champion. We doing Senair tonight? I remember we talked about that track. I think that could be a track we could use in another stream for sure. I'll definitely write that down because I wouldn't mind hearing out some ideas for future mock races as well. So yeah, about 40 laps into this bad boy. Again, Chase Slaughter just picking apart one lap car at a time. He's got about a 5-second lead now at this point. Toby Porter is second. So I also think Dale Earnhardt would appear in BASEketball. Yeah, I think that still happens. That doesn't change. Plus, that scene was just great. Can I go fast? Hang on. Dale Earnhardt has 3. 1980, 1986, and 1989. He is a 3-time champion. Still a very popular driver. Still a future Hall of Famer. Still a great driver and a great influence in the sport, despite not winning as many titles here. Right? 80, 86, 89. Earnhardt would have won 87 if it weren't for Jeff Bodine helping his teammate win the title. Dale Jr. and Kerry are 3rd generation. That's a good point. Yeah, because of Ralph. Yeah. Of course, I just showed the Kelly Ralph tribute car earlier. That's true. Greg Biffle was a bit of an older rookie, yeah. And obviously Greg did a really good job running in the Cup Series over the years. Yeah, we've already begun doing a lot of planning stuff for 1999, seeing what drivers come in and stuff of that nature. Oh yeah, Dale Earnhardt turned out fine in this timeline, even if he's not a 7-time champion. And honestly, I expected that because of having guys like Tim Richmond, Davey Allison, Alan Kulwicki still around. And it's been fascinating because, Ricky Rudd won a championship. Bubba Nissen, right? A guy that no one heard of before this series, winning a championship. There's also Rob Moroso, who's come close. And then, of course, Shauna Robinson winning a title. Rusty Wallace being a 4-time champion. I didn't expect that, so it's been amazing to see that happen. So, yeah, I'll definitely talk to the other folks. I'll talk to Ferris and see if we can get a list going at some point. He's a little busy with things, but see if we can get a list going for the different all-time winners, and I'd love to share that with you guys for sure. Davey Allison. Davey's been really weird in this timeline. I can't figure him out. Because it's he struggled with Yates. He goes to his dad's team, wins the title out of nowhere, and he won some races in there and just kind of, so. And I think for the most part, he did well with his equipment at SS Motorsports, so we'll have to see how things go with him moving forward for sure. I also think Patty Moyes would be a guest on Barney and Friends. I mean, it's cool to think about like what drivers would have made cool appearances like that. I could totally see Patty somehow appearing in the Barbie movie, even though it's like 2023. I could totally see it. Just because, I'd feel like, hey, you sponsored us back in the 90s and, 2000s. You want to appear in the movie? Sure, why not? So, Robbie Reiser nearly getting into Jay Sauter there. They're going to go 3 wide. Could that open the door for some of the leaders? Perhaps. Who knows? Where does this leave Grand Am and American Le Mans? I think Grand Am and American Le Mans are fine, Stock GT is just something where drivers from different disciplines can get the hang of driving a stock car and kind of learn how those cars work and make a better transition that way. So that's what it's kind of like that. Yeah, AK Racing winning a title would be awesome. They came close this year with Ernie, so maybe it could happen. Maybe it could happen, right? So you never know. Yeah, Davey has definitely been a kind of an oddball in this series. Rusty Wallace makes a cameo in SpongeBob. That would be something. I mean, then again, we'll get to that point where we have the SpongeBob SquarePants 400, right? Man, we're already an hour into the stream, man. Time's blown by. So we are 55 laps in. And then we'll do one more race. But after this race, I will show you guys a little fun announcement I have for streams. I want the Sega 400 before the console wars end. Right? Bubba Nissen is alternate history's favorite driver. Yeah, I mean, he's been a fun one just because he it's just a guy that like not a lot of people know about, right? And this is a guy who ran in the mid '80s in the Busch Series and kind of dipped out. Instead, he's still here, doing well in NASCAR. All right, let's see. Where is second place at? Well, Toby Porter has gained a little bit of ground, I would say. He was about 5 seconds back. Now he's about 3.5. A Dreamcast paint scheme would look pretty cool. Yeah, I think it would. Obviously, just comes down to what works best and what to do and all that fun stuff. I'm not sure who would get that sponsorship. That's something to probably think about, and if it were to happen, right? So, just depends on what works and all that stuff. But again, a lot of stuff still in the planning stages, We've already gotten to work on silly season plans and stuff like that, so I think 1999 is going to shape up to be a good one for sure. Looks like Porter is starting to lose ground on Jay Sauter some more. See the 29 on pit road there, so might be getting some green flag pit stops here momentarily from some of the leaders. In terms of Super Sportsman Stock GT, that's something that we'll definitely address when the time comes for sure. Something that we'll probably need to do a little bit more research on and see what works best. about Kraft and Cheese Car or Velveeta Shell's Cheese Car? Well, I know I have Robbie Reiser back here. He's driving the Kraft Singles car, so that's the scheme he's been driving the past couple years. In 1999, there will be a car with a 1 or 2 digit number. I will let you guys know that. Yeah, there will be a car with a 1 or 2 digit number going in for 1999. So, mind blowing. I know, it's crazy. But yeah, you know, again, we're in the planning stages for all of it. We'll just see. We'll see how everything nets out. And what makes the most sense as our leader goes down pit road for green flag pit stops. Maybe someone like Shauna Robinson or Tim Steele appears in Looney Tunes back in action instead of Jeff Gordon. I still think Jeff would have appeared, but again, we're still a bit away from that. We have a caution. And we have a caution. Is it the 88 of Pete Orr? Oh, Kelly Williams spins the 49 of Mike Cope and causes kind of a chain reaction there. J.D. Gibbs, Mario Goslin, Curtis Markham bumps into the 6, and Pete Orr goes for a spin. Oh, man, that's fun. And the leader just came down pit road, too, so that may jumble things up. The good old NR 2003 yellow flag stack-ups. Yeah, I'll look through the 81 through 96 cars a little bit more throughout the week and all that. And, you know, things have been a little hectic. And actually, the reason why I muted myself for a moment earlier was because usually I'm off Mondays, and I just got called in and I have to work tomorrow morning, so that's fun. So I was like, oh, okay. Of course, remember, there was that proposed Race Jam movie that never happened, so. There's Jay Sauter, okay. Does Mark Martin get the key to his hometown? Yes, I think, you know what? He's a champion in this timeline. I think he get the key to his hometown. So let's see if this cycles. I think Jay Sauter might have the lead here. I could be wrong. Yeah, it's kind of the idea, just kind of using those older bodies and stuff like that. I do think Patty's 89 Michigan car, yeah, I'd say that's in a museum. Honestly, that's something that every now and then could probably be in the Henry Ford Museum in Detroit. I've been there once, and the one time I was there, they had Bill Elliott's late 80s Coors car, and they also had Trevor Bayne's actual 2011 Daytona 500 car with the confetti and everything on it still, so. But yeah, plus, you know, she was in a Buick for that race, and now she's in a Pontiac, so. Really don't have anything for manufacturer what-ifs. I didn't realize Kelly went a lap down, huh? As of right now, but yeah. Yeah, there's just so much that can happen. So, obviously, I'll answer things the best I can. I obviously won't give anything away. Oh, you saw those cars too? Yeah. Yeah, the Henry Ford. I need to get back there, but it's a really cool museum. If you're ever in the Detroit area, highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. It's a great museum to go to. Yeah. So it looks like it's Jay Sauter, Toby Porter, Jason Jarrett, your top three. As we go back underway, and Sauter quickly pulls away. 71 laps complete. Now, of course, Kelly Williams is unfortunately a lap down, probably because of the shenanigans that occurred under the yellow. Toby Porter trying to get past that 32. See if he has a shot at the lead. Have a quick drink here. So we are, let me see. Hold on, I want to make sure because sometimes I have brain farts when it comes to math. Mathematics can be tough sometimes. Okay, that is not that. We're past halfway. What am I thinking? Good Lord. That's for 150 lap race. Anyway. 62-63. So yeah, we're past halfway already in this one. Yep, I saw it too. Yep. I'm pretty sure in one of my other backup drives, I probably have a couple pictures of that car in the Henry Ford Museum. Happy that Sterling Marlin won an IROC title, praying he becomes a Cup champion. I think Sterling could pull it off. He had like 4 wins, but he also had a little inconsistency that cost him. So I think anything's possible. I think Sterling could absolutely pull it off. He too has had kind of a big resurgence, if you will, kind of like Ernie, the 2 Junior Johnson cars. Funny enough. And I will say, I have already painted a couple of 1999 cars. I will not show you them, spoilers, but I'd say they look pretty cool. Yeah, exactly. Marlin and Kyle Petty had tons of wins while also crashing a ton. Yeah, like I said, Kyle Petty had a hell of a year, and it's amazing to me that he did not win the title, because I feel like that could have been it. But if he could perform like that again in 99, win a bunch of races, and be a little more consistent, I think he's in the running for sure for his second title. Shauna just got lucky. Well, I think Shauna was just consistent. That was the big thing. Rusty had a couple slip-ups that made him lose the points lead, and I think Shauna just had the consistency, and something that obviously was big at the time. So, I think Shauna did everything she had to do to win the title, and she worked hard for it. But yeah, I mean, sometimes in racing, you need a little luck on your side, too. So like Kyle Larson in real life. For whatever reason, he's good everywhere but the super speedways. And boy, his wreck, I didn't talk about that earlier, his wreck was Oof. That was rough. I mean, that was so... It looked like to me something broke because his car snapped and just boom right into the wall. I mean, that was a rough hit. I'm glad he and Chase Briscoe were okay. That was a little scary. But yeah, I will make that canon in this timeline. Mark Martin does get the key to the city. Yeah, I mean Jeff's been good, and he's still a top guy in the Cup Series. I would say he had a little bit of a down year for 1998. Bill Davis Racing's definitely a lot better in this timeline just because they had a lot of support from Ford. And slowly they're becoming a solid team. We'll see how Jeff does. If he can... he finished second in the standings in 97. He did pretty well. I mean, Rusty was just way too good, but, we'll see what happens. Yeah, it was cool, in Fork of the Road. It was cool to see people like Kenny Brack and Shauna Robinson in there just because it's like, hey, they're kind of involved in SNL too, so, it's cool to see all that, so... Well, on the bright side for Jeff Gordon, he did win the All-Star race, so, that locks him into the All-Star race from here on out, so. And 90 laps complete here. Not as big as a lead, but it's starting to build as Jay Sauter has just dominated since the beginning. He's got some lap cars ahead of him. See if he can maneuver his way around them. Man, left the opening there for Jay Sauter to just about pass all those guys right there. Yeah, the way it went into the wall. Yeah, I mean, it felt like to me that something had to break. Something broke in that car because it came out of nowhere and it happened so fast. So, it's hard to say, really. So, oh, we have a caution. What happened here? Oh, Chad Chaffin. No, more stuff happened up ahead here. Oh, our pole sitter, Rich Bickle. So Sontag turns the 11 of Jimmy Foster, and then we had a bit of a pileup here on the front stretch. Bring out our second caution here. Look out. Everyone just stacking up here. What year does he get the key? I mean, he could have gotten it the year of his championship, which was 1990. Oh, no. People are piling up back here. Oh. NR 2003. NR 2003 moment. It's Lyndon Amick with quite a bit of damage there. Oh, lordy. Got some leaders making their way down pit road. Yeah, Dale winning another 500 was pretty cool to see in Fork in the Road. And obviously, he's a 3-time winner of the Great American Race and Sunday Night Lights. He could always certainly win another. We'll have to see how everything stacks up here. By 2029, Louisiana Motor Speedway will be real. Just wait. I feel like this is Bowman Gray on another level. Well, you know, that's just how short tracks kind of behave and are. What can you do, right? Okay, so Sauter, I think, will still have the lead. Jason Jarrett is second. And is that Kerry in third? Yes, it is. I don't know what the heck happened to his car. That's a good point, Andrew. I mean, yeah, going into 99, that's something to start thinking about is the .com bubble. That's about to burst. You know, it was around that time. You know, you started seeing internet sponsorships. I mean, the internet's starting to become a daily thing for everybody. So that's how far we've gotten into this timeline. We're now at the .com bubble burst. That's wild that we've covered that many seasons. I just hope Dale Jr. doesn't turn out like SNL Davey Allison. Yeah, it's hard to see. It's hard to tell what'll happen, of course, but Jr.'s coming along just fine in the Busch Series, and you'll see what things look like for him in the coming years. Cars 1 releases in June 2002 in this universe. That's right, because there was like an original storyline that there were like deleted scenes from the first Cars movie dating back to like 2002. Because I remember Lightning McQueen's original number was going to be 57. And he had a more generic stock car look compared to... Yeah. Oh, I know who Bonzi Buddy is. Oh, yeah. But, yeah, I remember that. That's it. Oh, the Lycos car? Yeah, Jet made that paint scheme. Yeah, because... Yeah, Lightning's original number was 57. It was going to be 57. A reference to John Lasseter's birth year. And we are back underway. We do have a lap car in front of Jay Sauter, so that could make things interesting. I think John Lasseter got the initial idea in 1999. The lost deleted scene. Yeah, because I remember like they were like Lightning McQueen had like a dream, and in that dream like they took his engine out and put it in like a steamroller, and then Mater's engine got into McQueen's body. It was weird. Yep, stay tuned for more Racing Infinity news as well. We're definitely going to get those in the works very soon. Yeah, Jet, Rose Jam, Ferris, they all did a fantastic job on these paint schemes. Yep, the Cars DVD. Yep, I remember. Yep, those delete scenes were. See, that's what we're kind of missing these days. With DVDs, you know, they had fun special features like that. Looks like Rich Bickle was no contest for Jay Sauter as he pulls away. Jason Jarrett is clear of lap cars, though, so we'll see what happens if he can catch him. He was pretty impressive in his part-time starts in the Super Sportsman Series for sure. Getting close to 20 laps to go. Time to get the all-in-all camera? Yes. How different is the 2024 Cup Series going to look in this universe? I would say quite different. It's still hard for me to tell. Is there an age limit for DuPont Super Sportsman? I don't think we necessarily... We had Adam Petty run trucks at 17. I think Casey Atwood was around that age too. So, you know, I don't think that's something we necessarily touched up on, but something worth touching up on here at some point probably. Believe it or not, the development on the first Cars movie actually began in 1998, and it was going to be a completely different movie, an electric car living in a motor oil world. Interesting. I just remember being like 7 years old. Like 7, 8 years old, seeing the first trailer for that movie going, oh my god, Dad, I need to see this movie. We haven't seen a blockbuster. Amy Purdy is from Las Vegas. Oh, nice. There's a fun question. Who do you think's most likely to become a 7-time champion in Sunday Night Lights? That's a fun question there, if y'all want to respond to that one. 15 to go. Jason Jarrett just out of reach of Jay Sauter, not able to gain much ground on him. Kerry Earnhardt still running pretty well with that beat-up car, but again, this is a short track, so, you know, aero is not necessarily that important here. Rusty will win 7 titles, and then 60-plus-year-old Richard Petty will come back for his 8th. Super Rusty. Oh, yeah. I remember the bonus features had John Lasseter talking about making a story about somebody going for a big goal but needing a life lesson about slowing down and making friends. Yeah. And of course, like, you know, looking at Lightning McQueen, who was this hotshot rookie with a big ego, and he just kind of needed a bit of a reality check. He needed to have a big life lesson, and he matured because of it. So that's what made it so special. And of course, the history behind Route 66 as a Midwesterner, you know, at least I consider this Midwest, but it can be tricky around my neck of the woods, but I always felt that way. In short, McQueen needed to touch grass. Or drive on grass, if you would say. A race car was perfect for that story. Yeah, I mean, and considering the fact that, like, the race schedule and the way it is, right? You got to be able to just slow down a little bit and, you know, enjoy the little things in life. So, cars got me into NASCAR. That's awesome to hear. I'm pretty sure that's the case for a lot of people too. I think that's awesome. You know, I mean, that first movie was so special, and I thought, you know, the third one was better than the second one. The thing was, like, I was more invested in the World Grand Prix stuff than I was the spy stuff, but what can you do? Coming to 6 to go for Mr. Jay Sauter. It was after John Lasseter took his family on a cross-country trip in 2000 that the idea for a Cars movie, we get clicked on him. A race car who always wants to go fast being told to slow down. Oh, wow. I'll have to look that up. Somebody asked when Dale will retire. I'm not entirely sure. You know, it's hard to say. Just depends on his performance, how he's doing, when we think would be a good time for him to retire and stuff like that. We're coming to excuse me. We're coming to 4 laps to go now for Jay Sauter, and as Daryl Cartrip would once say, calm the dogs and put out the fire, because we're about to crown ourselves a winner. Unless Jay Sauter gets held up by these lap cars, but I just don't know. I especially like the historical references. I do too. Because when I was a kid, I had like a history of NASCAR DVD. I had the NASCAR 50 Greatest Drivers book and all sorts of stuff that, you know. And as somebody who has Asperger's syndrome and just their interests get so narrowed down, I was so all in on NASCAR. And it hasn't stopped. So, 2 laps to go for Jay Sauter. Jason Jarrett's there, but I just don't know if he has enough time. He's got to get around that lap car of Russell Phillips. And it's lights out. Mike Cope is in the barrier. Sauter wins. Bruh. I swear, if Sauter actually blows a tire coming to the checkered. White flag. Final lap for Jay Sauter as Jason Jarrett is right there in second. But again, I just don't think he has enough time to catch the 31 car. Unless he gets a huge surge here on the backstretch. Sauter trying to get around Mike Cope. Jason Jarrett's there, but he's going to run out of time. Checkered flag. Jay Sauter wins at Vancouver. The 6th car is Robbie Crouch, by the way. And that will bring an end to our first of 2 races here this evening. Jay Sauter is your winner. Jason Jarrett is second. Kerry Earnhardt is third. Toby Porter fourth. And Ron Barfield Jr. in fifth. Casey Atwood is sixth. Jeff Purvis seventh. J.D. Gibbs eighth. Andy Houston ninth. Curtis Markham in 10th. And there's the rest of your finishing order there. Kelly probably won't retire for a while. And then, of course, Danica and Jennifer Jo Cobb will pass on the female torch. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I love the historical references. You know, like throwing in the likes of Mario Andretti and other people in the movie. That was just really cool. Mario Andretti knows my name. You've got to let me in now. So, will you give Jimmy Johnson a special video? It's hard to say. It just depends on how special it is and stuff like that. So, moving forward. So yeah, there's your finishing order there, and let me scroll down here. All the cars that retired from the race. I'll admit SNL is the only reason I know of drivers like Bubba Nissen and Tommy Gale. And that's what's been cool about this series too, is just learning about different drivers, and you're like, who is this guy? And then you look him or her up, and you're like, oh wow, that's really cool. So, alright, so yeah, that's your first race of the evening. Let me do a couple quick things here. I hope to God that it doesn't cut out my mic right when I do this. Alright, there's that. Mm-hmm. So I will say the next mock race will involve the Cup Series. And I'll let you know what track that is here in a bit. Will NASCAR get a race in Mexico way earlier? It just kind of depends. The possibility's always there, but it just depends on how things work out and stuff like that. So, before anything else, let's see if I remember. Let me do this correctly. So, I mentioned that I have a fun little announcement, and I hope it should work because I need to make this full screen. It is a fun little PowerPoint of just a fun idea to do for the for some future streams. So, with that being said, let me make sure. And then, alright, so here's the PowerPoint presentation. This is a fun little thing to do. I hope my mic doesn't cut out. But, here's the fun little idea we're going to do. We're going to do a fun little playoff thing. Okay, good, it's showing it. So yeah, we're going to do 10 live races, 16 contenders. And that is what we are doing. So, it's just for the streams. Something fun to do. Make a fun little mini-series and just kind of exploring, like, what-if kind of thing, right? How would a playoffs look like in the Sunday Night Lights universe right now? Either Jet or myself will send a link because we want you guys to suggest the tracks that we use for this playoff. So, yeah, we're gonna let you guys help choose that, and once we get everything sorted and situated, we will get that going in future streams. So that is the plan. As you see, the 16 drivers, based off of everything that's happened in 1998 for Sunday Night Lights, and yeah, there you have it. So again, off-season playoffs. I hope my mic is still on and all that stuff. But again, either a Jet or myself. Yep, okay, Jet just sent the link there. It's a Google form. Love to hear. I love to hear what you guys want for tracks in this 10 race mini series. So, yep, click on that link and submit your tracks down below. I thought you hated the playoffs. You know, I've come to understand it, and here's how I see it. It's okay to be different. It's okay to, and I understand its flaws, there's ups and downs and stuff like that, but I think it helps make NASCAR stand out a little bit more, right? No other motorsport does this, and when you look at it, you know, when you do a playoff, it's just the teams that make the playoffs. But here, you're still racing with everybody else. No other sport does that. So, you know, I see the good in the playoffs for sure. And again, huge thanks to Jet for the graphics. Yep. So, vote for up to 3 tracks you want to be featured, and the deadline is Tuesday. And then we'll set up the 10-race schedule after that. So, awesome. We already got somebody filling it in. Thank you, Paper Banjo. So, yeah. Click on that link in the chat and go ahead and fill in what tracks you want us to use, and we will sort that all out. So, I think this could be really fun. Yeah, it's just based on points and wins and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, I think this is going to be something really fun to do and see who ends up the champion in a situation like this, right? So, yeah, awesome. Glad to see some people already filling it out. That's great. Again, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's something fun and different to do in these. So, yeah. And with that, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So, let me turn that back on. Awesome. So yeah, appreciate you guys filling that out, and I'll make some posts about that to make sure you guys submit your ideas that you want to submit. Yep, 16 cars, 1 champion. So, with that being said, a couple more things. I have my friend Michael Klein and I brought the podcast back recently. It's called Speed Reign Supreme, based off the theme of this channel. It's a separate other channel. So, if you like podcasts, definitely take a look. You know, we've interviewed some guys. I mentioned Tim Goulet, Travis Shoemake. We talked to Presley Sora. We actually just wrapped up yesterday another one. I'm going to get that out soon. We talked to Brayton Laster. So, yeah, that's the Speed Reigns Supreme podcast. You can just look it up on YouTube. Feel free to subscribe and stay tuned for more future episodes as well. So, figured I'd bring that up really quick. Let me see if I can... Can I pin this? Let me see. Maybe not. Huh. I wanted to see if I could pin that link to the Google form real quick before I get on with the next race. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Okay. Well, I'll be sure to make a community post about that. Let's see. I'm thinking of creating a Churchill Downs track for NR 2003. I'd love to see that, actually, as somebody who lived in Louisville as a kid. I actually went to Churchill Downs quite a bit. I went to the Kentucky Derby one year. I think Churchill Downs was home to racing really early in its time. Like, you know, when motor racing was still starting out. Because I saw that Ray Haroon, the first driver to win the Indy 500, and I looked it up, and apparently I think he did some races there. I was kind of like, huh. So yeah, race at Churchill Downs, you know, it's always something. It'd be goofy, but it'd be a fun what if to explore. So yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what tracks you guys submit for sure. Oh, yeah. Jeremy Mayfield in the 12? Yeah, because he had that paint scheme. I think he said, I think I read somewhere about him having to have his car be quiet to not startle the horses. A Manhattan street course that goes through Times Square. I'm pretty sure some racing video games, I think Gran Turismo's done that and stuff like that, where a lot of racing games like doing that, where the New York street course goes through Times Square. Do you think Shauna Robinson would be nicknamed the Pizza Lady because of her sponsorship with Little Caesars? I didn't think about that, but I guess anything's possible, right? So I have all the alternates on, but I'm just going to see which ones get chosen. So we're going to do the Winston Cup at a California track that unfortunately was lost in the test of time. I did this for Racing Infinity a while back. We are going back to Ontario. So, we're going to be going back to the Indy of the West. Yeah, the EA games, yeah, there was a excuse me, there was a New York course. So yeah. We're heading to Ontario, California. OMS also stands for One More Spark. Yes, it does. That's a good point. Which, Griff Dog actually tweeted today. Today's his birthday, so be sure to wish him a happy birthday. That's been another fun thing too.
Drivers, to your cars.
That's been another fun thing too with Sunday Night Lights is just going to these different tracks that didn't get the chance that they got in real life. So, all right. Well, surprise, surprise. Rusty Wallace on the pole. Dale Earnhardt will start second. Ricky Rudd third. Ernie Irvan fourth. So with that being said, we'll go through the starting lineup. Pounding Pavement is my alternate timeline that starts at the 1992 Hooters 500. Ooh, nice. Did you consider keeping Ontario? It was honestly a track that I didn't think of back then. Because I looked at the 81 schedule. And I didn't even realize Ontario back then. Not until later on. I was kind of like, oh. But, now we really get the all-in-all camera for Rusty. But yeah, I didn't, maybe if there was one thing I'd go back and change is maybe include that track. But, sometimes not everything's meant to be. And plus, when you look at Ontario, Riverside, and even Fontana, they were all really close together. I looked up the coordinates for Ontario. It was literally right next door to where Fontana's track was. So, it's a shame that there's a lot of these great tracks that just, didn't make it out there in SoCal. But, we do have Riverside in this timeline. That track's here to stay. So, let's take a look at our starting lineup here. We got Super Rusty on the pole. Next to him is Dale Earnhardt, and we got the Utah Jazz paint scheme for this one. All right. I kind of have all the alts in the roster, so they all just randomized. We got the Gatorade Chevrolet of Ricky Rudd and Ernie Irvan in his MB&A Platinum Ford. Hey, we got the we got the Soda Row right here. We got the Cherry Coke Pontiac of Patty Moyes. Do something different. And, of course, the Mellow Yellow Pontiac of Kyle Petty. And our champ, Shauna Robinson, right behind them. So the Sapco Pontiacs all together there. Joe Nemechek in that Tide Chevrolet next to her. Then we got Sterling Marlin in the Lowe's Ford. And the Budweiser Chevrolet of Jeff Green. Yeah, it appears I'm trying to make the LA Ram fans mad. We got the Green Bay Packers Ford here of Dale Jarrett. And we got Mark Martin next to him. All right, Bubba Nissen in the Goodies Navy Pontiac, and Mac Tonight, Jeff Gordon in the 1. Kenny Brack in the 44, and next to him is Kelly Earnhardt in the Ralph Earnhardt paint scheme. Alan Kowicki, the Daytona 500 champion, next to him, Tammy Jo Kirk. We got the Winter Olympics paint scheme being driven by Kenny Wallace and the Diet Pepsi Ford of Casey Elliott. Then we got Darrell Waltrip in the 6 and Chad Little in the John Deere Pontiac. Dick Trickle in the 28 Hardee's Pontiac for Renier Walsh. And it's Davey Allison in the Tampa Bay Devil Rays Chevrolet. I'm sure the Dodger fans may not like that one. Or the Angels. Whichever you prefer. All right, Wally Dallenbach in the 36 Prime Star Pontiac. And then it's the 17 of Terry Labonte. Then you got Terry Schoonover in the Spam Chevrolet. And Bobby Hamilton in that Petty Enterprises STP Pontiac. Eddie Bierswell with the Wood Brothers. Jeff Burton in the Cartoon Network Chevrolet for Andy Petrie. Rick Mast in the 77, sponsored by Jasper Engines. And then Bill Elliott in the Coors Ford. Dodgers fans don't deserve rights anyway. Damn. Damn. Kelly Yarborough Racing's Jimmy Spencer in the Thornapple Valley Premium Meats Ford. And then the Tabasco Fiasco, the 35 Pontiac of Todd Bodine. Next up is the 41 of Steve Grissom. And then the 81 of Robert Presley. Then rounding out the field is Ward Burton in the 23 Winston Ford. The 91 First Union car of Kevin LePage, Rob Moroso, and Tim Richmond. starting in the back. So they'll have some work to do. But yeah, we are set and ready to go here at Ontario Motor Speedway. I'll go ahead and... Drivers, to your cars. Cars. Nike Dale. Well, the reason why the track at Fontana hasn't happened is mainly because Riverside still exists, and Fontana and Riverside are like 20 minutes apart. So having two cup tracks like that close together just sounds, impossible.
Riders, start your engines!
Here, I'll do my Hank Hill impersonation. Drivers, start your engines. Whoa. Yeah. Check it out, it's Dale Earnhardt. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, cars are rolling out here in Ontario. The 91 car is LJ Racing, by the way. Patty Moyes Barbenheimer. I don't think there is such a thing as an all-in-all cam, or I don't know if there is a way for a car to actually, make a car DNF. I have no idea. But, it isn't a fiasco in this timeline case. Todd Bodine is probably going to be a 500 winner. What if the Tabasco team knew what they were doing? Yeah, it's, we need a Kevin James. Yes, we do. Kevin James, command. Yes. One of the best commands of all time. I hope the Fontana short track happens. We get a track out there. I know NASCAR said right now, they said that, they would have a SoCal track for next season, and sadly they don't, but I'm assuming it's mainly because they just weren't able to get a deal done in time. But yeah. Yeah, I figured you could probably put commands in here. Like, you could probably edit some sort of sound file. Who all hopes Rusty blows his engine? Well, we're about to go racing here in the Indy of the West. 50 laps here in Ontario to decide a winner in this second mock race. Here we go. Rusty Wallace, Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd, Ernie Irvan lead the field to the green flag, and we're racing in SoCal. Earnhardt and Wallace are side by side as they head into turn one, and Rusty has the advantage. Ricky Rudd suddenly now 1 second from Earnhardt. What's a celebrity that you wish could have done the command that never did the command? That's a fun question for you guys. Okay. Does Dodge still enter the Winston Cup in 2001? I say Dodge, it's they're working on some things, and you will find out soon when that time comes, but they're definitely aiming towards entering the Cup at some point soon. But yeah, what's a celebrity that you wish would have done the command to fire the engines, but didn't? Tim Allen, if he didn't. I'd love to see Gronk give the command. I gotta say, for whatever reason, I would have loved to have seen Chester Bennington do it. Rest in peace, obviously. And just imagine he uses his really good screaming to yell, "Start your engines." I feel like that would have fed generations. So right now, it's Rusty Wallace leading. Patty Moyes, Shauna Robinson, Sterling Marlin. Penske versus Sabco. Probably right now the two best Cup teams in this timeline. How fitting. Yeah, I can just imagine Chester going, start your engines. Oh, that would have goosebumps. That would have been goosebumps. Mr. Beast. Oh God, no, not Alex Jones. No. Eminem doing the command would be cool. Let's see. What did you think of the new song? Okay, I guess since somebody asked, I'll talk about that. I agree. Emily Armstrong was amazing. That was so cool. I'm glad they're back. I think they sound great. The new song's great. Because I figured with all the teasing they were doing, I was like, they're hyping up something big. And man, it was cool. I admit I was very emotional the first time I heard it, and just watching that live concert. So Emily sounds great. And I know some people don't like it, but in my opinion, I think this is what Chester would have wanted. And plus, they're doing something new. So I'm really excited to see what the rest of the new album sounds like. Is Rusty going to have the King-style crash in this race? Rusty versus Shauna. Hey, we've seen this before in the stream. Rusty Wallace is like the final boss. This is what happens when you mess with the final boss, as The Rock would say. Shauna is there. Ernie Irvan back in third. So the top three, the three drivers that were contending for the championship in 1998. And followed by the Brickyard 400 winner. And we have a caution. 6 laps in, and Casey Elliott. Casey Elliott with heavy. What in the world happened here? Looks like Presley got into Elliott. Elliott went sliding up the track. Oh my God. Presley just got stuck in the wall. What in the world? Casey nearly took out his uncle in the process. Wasn't his fault, but... a little too close for comfort, probably. Yeah, Robert Presley just... Oh, hey, Julio. I can't wait to binge From Zero. I'm going to binge it too, trust me. That was weird. Presley got stuck in the wall. This game's fun sometimes. Oof. That's rough. I'd say Presley's probably done for the day. It's time for pit stops. Who's going to come out first? It never changed in our 2003. Never change. I couldn't agree more. I love it. The fact that this game came out 21 years ago and it's still very relevant to this day is beautiful. I love it. It should have been Rusty. I'm just laughing because everyone wants Rusty to lose. It's so funny. Dale's stuck on pit road. I don't know what's going on there. He lost a lot of ground. Oh, Dale. Well, we had some... I didn't realize some people came out in front of Rusty, so... I think Ernie Irvan's actually going to be your leader. Let me check. Okay, I thought Rusty came out first. I'm confused for a moment. Okay. Jeez. The pace car is way out there. go. Dale had John Stockton in the pits. Bruh. Then, I would say if Jeff Gordon was in the Chicago Bulls car, I'd be like, then where's Michael Jordan? Okay. Yeah. Novi Ranger, you asked about a Sunday Night Lights Wikipedia. I will totally endorse it as long as it's something that's taken seriously and there's nothing excessive or things that I didn't approve of. But yeah, I endorse it if that's something you want to do and all that fun stuff. That would be cool. So, yeah. So, it's Rusty Walsh, Shauna Robinson, Ernie Irvan, Jeff Green, Alan Kawicki. Dale Jarrett in the top 10. How about that in that Green Bay Packers Ford? Oh, wait, this is 1998. Yeah, okay, Phantom Wiki. Yeah, that's totally... I figured that's what you were talking about. Yeah, that's fine. I lost my train of thought. What was I going to talk about? Rusty is his timeline's Joey Logano. I don't know, I'm sure people will boo him just because he's so good. But, in the end, he's just someone that's really respectable. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is 1998. LA didn't have an NFL team at this point. Sorry, I had to. Alright, I'm thinking the lights are probably going to be off the pace car at this point. They come to the line, and we'll have the 1 to go to the restart. Alright, the lights are off, and that means we're going to go racing next time by. When we get back to the start-finish line, 10 laps will be complete from Ontario. Can't help but think what this track would look like today if it was still around. Yep, in case you missed it, I announced we're going to do a fun little mini-series for our streams. We're going to do a playoff format for the 1998 Sunday Night Lights Winston Cup. The 16 drivers won title. There is a Google Forms link there if you haven't already, and vote for the tracks for the off-season playoff streams and all that good stuff. Lights out, Presley in the barrier, Rusty wins. I'm just kidding. In case, Jet, you were going to make the joke, I beat you to the punch. Probably like Indian Auto Club combined. Yeah, probably. Something along the lines of that. Oops. Come back. As we're about to get back underway, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching as always. And we're back underway. Excuse me. The Talladega Squeeze. Rusty pulling away as Ernie Irvan battles for second with Shauna Robinson. But it goes down to one lane. Oh, jeez. In our timeline, people wondered if Jeff was going to win his fifth. In SNL, people wonder when he's going to get his first. Fun battling for position going on back here. Bubba Nissen up to third. Patty Moyes in fourth. Here's Patty Moyes to the inside of Nissen. Not able to complete the pass as Kyle Petty will go high. We need to find more pictures of Bubba Nissen, right? Nissen now 1 second. Can he get a push from Patty Moyes? Looks like he will. 1996 champion now up to second with help from the 96 International All-Star winner, Patty Moyes. Moyes comes off turn 4, and now she won second from Bubba Nissen. We need to interview Bubba Nissen and show him SNL. That would be cool. That would be cool. Nissen and Moyes still battling side by side for second. And now entering the mix is the Mac Tonight Ford of Jeff Gordon. Patty Moyes does take second from Nissen as Rusty Wallace continues to lead. But the question is, can anybody catch Rusty Wallace? Yeah, he drove in the mid '80s in the Busch Series and didn't pan out too far. The all in all is now heating to a boil. Well, Moyes and Nissen are reeling in Rusty Wallace now, so this could get interesting if they catch him. They're right there within a second, as well as Rusty's teammate, Sterling Marlin. I figured you were joking. It's all good. And Moyes is there. Come on, Patty. Let's go, Patty. I've been thinking about that. I'm pretty sure that song is already out at this point in the timeline. Let me check. Yeah, that song came out in 97. Classic. By the group Aqua. Hiya, Barbie. Hi, Ken. You want to go for a ride? Yeah. Does Rusty Wallace never win a 500 like real life, or does he finally get one soon? Well, I guess you'll have to find out. You know, he hasn't won a 500 yet, but the possibility's always there. I mean, he's a 4-time champion, so practically that's like the one thing he's missing is that Daytona 500. And probably winning at Indy too, so. Marlin was up to third, but now Bubba Nissen is putting him under pressure. I thought Moyes was reeling in Rusty, but he's starting to pull away a bit again. If Rusty wins the 500 next season, you all will regret asking. There's an AI version of Barbie Girl being sung by Cartman. Oh, God. Would Sacco probably still switch to Dodge? I don't know. That's still some stuff we have to give a lot of thought about moving forward and stuff like that, but I'd say for now, Sapco's pretty content where they are. I mean, they're successful, they're winning a lot, they just picked up another championship, so. Is Ken Elton Sawyer? I mean, yeah, Elton and Patty are married, so it makes sense. South Park NASCAR crossover. There was I don't think any of the drivers actually cameoed in it, but there is an episode of South Park about NASCAR because Eric Cartman drove in a race, and how I always viewed that episode is it's funny, and I think it doesn't make fun of NASCAR, it makes fun of how people view NASCAR, if that makes sense. You know, how Cartman's like, I can't enjoy NASCAR because I'm not stupid and poor. And it's just. Caution, I saw some smoke. I think that was Steve Grissom in the 41. Ooh. Alright, let's take a look what happened here. It looked like Beerswell just got into Grissom. Oh man, Kevin LePage just slammed into the back of the 41 car, and big damage for the 21 and 41 cars. Yeah, none of the drivers voiced themselves. I know there's a clip of Danica Patrick talking about it. I'm pretty sure she found it funny. I know she was talking about it. She didn't seem offended or anything by it. Sliding. Just showing some replays here. I admit, it's been a while since I've seen that clip of Danica talking about it, but I'm pretty sure it's out there somewhere. Matt Stone and Trey Parker aren't even NASCAR fans themselves. They just respect the skill that it requires. Yeah, and I mean, at least there's people, too, that, respect, there's a lot of skill that goes to it. It's just not, they're just driving in a circle for 400 laps. That's not it. That's not it. How was your day? My day's been pretty good. Me and my roommates went out to IHOP this morning, and just been enjoying the day, and of course, watched the Bengals completely go against the Patriots, and then watch the race and all that stuff. So you just got LePaged or something like that. I don't know why, but now I'm just thinking of this channel called Raxty Flipnote. Get tungsten cubed, idiot! Pfft, you know. So the caution's out for the second time today. I just kind of skipped through pitting here. Alright, let me check. Who came off pit road first? I want to know. It's hard to, like I said, I appreciate all the sponsor suggestions, but again, it just comes down to what's realistic and what works best. And obviously, you know, like, for example, we're far ways off from the 2020s, so it's just one of those things where we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Who do I think will win the in real life championship? Just quite a few names I feel I could pull it off. You know, I think if Logano catches fire, he's got a shot. Reddick's obviously been kind of hot lately. William Byron could always make a run too. You know, Larson's there too. Obviously got a rebound from that wreck today. There was a track called Langhorne Speedway that was a literal circle. Oh yeah, Langhorne. Wasn't that, I think that was one of the original 1949 Cup tracks, I'm pretty sure. Unless I'm thinking of something else. Oh, trust me, I would have loved for Suarez to win today, and I thought he had it, and so close. So close. But he ran really well today, and hopefully he can continue that momentum and, you know, make a little noise in the playoffs, right? You're just out there giving it your all and trying to win. What about for Casey Elliott? You know, he's still young. He's still developing as a driver. So, unless we're talking about cars' names here. Patty Noise. That's a good one. I know somebody did Pontiac Moise last time we had a conversation about that. Make a little Moise in the playoffs. Hey, I mean, the playoff thing we're doing, right? Maybe she could. Maybe Patty could make a little Moise, if you will. Awesome case. Cars names. Okay, I see it now. Can the pace car hit Rusty? I mean, if this was NASCAR Thunder 2004 and you're driving as the as Buster Otten in the actual pace car, you probably could. Barbie Moise. Race the pace car. What about race the truck? The UPS truck. You could hit the pace car in NASCAR Racing 4 and NR 2002. Oh, okay. Lights are off for the pace car, and we're close to the halfway point. The crew chief made some snide remarks if you did. Really? I'll have to look that up. I don't know about Miller sales going down, but obviously, you know, they're going to promote Rusty Wallace quite a lot for sure. Congratulations, you just set the sport back 30 years with that move. I have to remember that quote. Those remarks are still in NR 2003 unused. What was the Days of Thunder quote? Hit the pace car! Alright, we're going back racing here on lap 24. Rusty Wallace, Shauna Robinson, Sterling Marlin, Tim Richmond, Bubba Nissen, your top 5. Here we go. Yeah, I always figured that the Cars version of Michael Waltrip would just be Michael Cartrip. Shauna Speedster Robinson. Coming to the halfway point, it's the Penske Fords out in front of Rusty Wallace and Sterling Marlin. And battle for the lead. It's Sterling Marlin to the inside of his teammate. I'm sure Roger Penske has got to be enjoying this 1-2 battle. New leader. It's the Lowe's Ford of Sterling Marlin, followed by a pair of Sapco Pontiacs and Shauna Robinson and Kyle Petty. So, hey, we got a new leader. Yep, Bob Cutlass and Daryl Cartrip. Yep. And Rusty Wallace was taking a peek to the inside, not able to get to his teammate. Jeff Gordon back there in 5th. 26 laps into this one. Passed by double Rusty. God. Talladega Nights is even going to be even more chaotic. Well, Rusty Wallace has not backed off. He's still all over the back of his teammate. If these two continue to battle for the lead, maybe that opens the door for the likes of Robinson and Petty, or even Jeff Gordon. And as Kyle Petty gets past Shauna Robinson for 3rd, Jeff Gordon looking to follow, Robinson dropping back. In our timeline, we have the Larson-Verstappen debate. Now we have the Rusty versus Ayrton Senna debate. Kyle Petty and Jeff Gordon. Joe Nemechek up to 5th. They're catching back up to the 2 Penske cars there. But can anybody stop that powerful duo of Marlin and Wallace? Let's see. That is incredible indeed. Kyle Petty up to 2nd. Rusty Wallace is now back to third. The worst he's ran all race long. And can Kyle Petty catch Sterling Marlin? And we're starting to see a lead change. Let's see if we get another one. Rip Rusty's career due to this one race. Man, Petty all over the back of Marlin here as they come to 20 laps to go here at Ontario. Another fun fact about NR4, NR 2002, and NR 2003. John St. John, Duke Nukem is the crew chief, and Ryan Drummond, Sonic the Hedgehog, is the spotter. Really? Ryan Drummond? I did not know that, actually. I feel like looking that up now, because I know he used to voice Sonic back in the day. Oh, he's from Lima, Ohio. I didn't know that. Alright, video games. Let's see here. Huh. Yeah, NASCAR Racing 2002 season. Spotter. I did not know that. That's wild. I did not know that. You're telling me Sonic the Hedgehog was a spotter? That's crazy. Andre Drummond better than Ryan Drummond. Oh my gosh. Before they started using the four. Yep, Drummond. Yeah, he voiced Sonic in the adventure games and Sonic Heroes. Meanwhile, battle for the lead. Kyle Petty takes the lead, and the Penske Empire has been stopped for now. Can Jeff Gordon take second away from Marlin? Rusty Wallace has dropped back to fifth. How about Kyle Petty? And Roger Craig Smith narrated Hell's Kitchen for a couple seasons. Huh. Ain't that something? Right now it's this top four. Kyle Petty, Sterling Marlin, Jeff Gordon, Rob Moroso. I think Jeff's fine where he is. You know, he's won quite a lot of races. He just, hasn't gotten the big title yet, but that can always change. I think he and Bill Davis are in a good spot, and I think that's going to be the case moving forward right now. Meanwhile, Sterling Marlin looking to take the lead back, and he's going to do so. New leader, Sterling Marlin. Second time he's led today. Kyle Petty had it for a brief moment. And now Rob Moroso wants second from Kyle Petty. Moroso trying to knock on the door of the lead. 16 laps to go at the line. Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. And Ford, to me, is really good right now, so they're looking pretty good. Rob Moroso is there. So is Petty. So is Gordon. Rusty Wallace there too. Can Rob Moroso grab the lead here? And Moroso peeks to the inside of Marlin. Moroso looking to become the fourth different leader in this race. He may have a little help from Kyle Petty, or will Petty make this 3 wide? And he thought about it, but Rob Moroso is going to clear Marlin and take the lead. In that inverted Haviland Chevrolet. Rusty Wallace to the inside of his teammate, looking to grab 4th place. And Rusty is on the move. And looks like we have green flag pit stops taking place here. These pit stops could determine who wins this race. Yeah, I'm kind of curious when Moroso could potentially win a championship here. He's been good enough to do so. Obviously, 96 was really heartbreaking for him. Still trying to rebound from that, but he's still been good, very competitive, and I'm intrigued to see if he could potentially win himself a title. Moroso makes his way down pit road. Jimmy Johnson's going to be interesting. He's done really well for himself in the Truck Series, and obviously doing it for an independent team too. So, be interesting to see what he does next within the next couple of years for sure. I'm not really going to get into manufacturers joining right now, just because so much can happen, and it's just not something that we have not dived into so much. So leaders off pit road now. Moroso, Petty, Gordon, I think will be your top 3. There is one lapped car ahead. That is Steve Grissom in the 41. But yeah, so many different things can happen. There's so many different possibilities, and obviously we're still trying to lay the groundwork out for 1999 and get that going here soon, and figure out what the schedule's going to look like, what all the rosters will look like, and stuff like that. Moroso gets past the lapped car of Grissom. He's got a pretty solid lead now over Kyle Petty and Jeff Gordon. Rusty Wallace 4th, Joe Nemechek is 5th. Yeah, a number 9 silver bullet card. That would be cool. Again, just depends on what all happens, of course. Alright, we got 10 laps to go here in Ontario. Things still looking pretty good for Rob Moroso. Unless Kyle Petty and Jeff Gordon could potentially catch him. They have some work to do. Rusty Wallace still 4th. We'll see if Kyle Petty and Jeff Gordon are gaining any kind of ground on Moroso. Back to the start-finish line. 9 laps to go. Well, it looks like Petty and Gordon did cut into Moroso's lead a little bit. However, I don't know if this is smart for them to do this. Gordon to the inside of Petty for second. And Gordon's going to clear him. Can't wait to see the alternate reality of the field fillers. Alright, let's see if they've cut into the lead any more here. Not necessarily that time. Oh, Jeff. Oh, Jeff. Yeah. Or here's another one from Darrell Waltrip. Oh, Matt Kenseth. And for the record, this isn't part of the playoffs, so we're gonna pick the tracks that you guys voted for and what you guys submitted, and we'll announce everything when we get everything situated. So this is just a typical fun little mock race at Ontario Motor Speedway. Oh God, how different is SNL's universe? SNL. Hard to say. It's hard to say. So Kyle Petty and Jeff Gordon still trying to reel in Rob Moroso. They've been doing that a little bit, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. They got to get going here. We're going to come to 5 laps to go at the start-finish line. Petty and Gordon are chasing Moroso down, but now they're side by side again as the two of them have been swapping second place back and forth. What's going on with the lighting at Winchester? Yeah, it did seem a little dark. That's just kind of how it looked when I brought the track up in the game. So I'm assuming maybe that's what it's like in real life. So help me, Bubba. This. I may have to borrow that quote. Moroso, as Petty is now just a second away. Moroso gets past Eddie Bierschwell in the 21. Keep an eye on that 42 and 1, and now the 2 car perhaps. Rusty Wallace says Petty, he's going to get held up by the lap car of Eddie Bierschwell. As they come off turn 4, this could benefit Jeff Gordon. Still reeling in Moroso. And now Jeff Gordon the second. Moroso may have to get ready and make his car 5 lanes wide to win this race. We'll see. And Rusty Wallace now up to 3rd. Chasing down Jeff Gordon. Did the lap traffic perhaps hold those guys up? Going to come to 3 laps to go for Rob Moroso. Still chipping away at it, slowly but surely. I wonder what could happen here on the final lap. And Wallace to the inside of Gordon. And Wallace not able to complete the pass that time. Jeff Gordon caught a lucky break there. Off turn 4, back to the start-finish line. 2 laps to go for Rob Moroso, and the leaders just continue to chase him down. Rusty Wallace trying to get past Gordon again. No luck. He might have something here, though. It's back to his inside. Still nothing. Jeff Gordon is there. He looks to the inside. Not able to get there. Moroso trying to hold on. Gordon is there, peeking to the inside off turn 4. Coming to the white flag. Gordon's to the inside of Moroso. Battle for the win right here on the final lap. Can Gordon complete the pass? He's side by side with Rob Moroso. Wallace is there too. Jeff Gordon has taken the lead from Rob Moroso. Absolute heartbreak on the final lap for Moroso. He is still dropping back. He's on the verge of losing 3rd place from Kyle Petty. Gordon, meanwhile, has 2 more turns to hold off Rusty Wallace. Dramatic finish here in Ontario. Can you believe it? Off turn 4, checkered flag. Jeff Gordon is going to steal it. He wins at Ontario. What an exciting finish. It looked like Rob Moroso had it. Those leaders were just chipping away at him, and they just had enough time to get around Rob Moroso. Cars 1 and 2 finish 1 and 2. Wow, what an exciting finish there to this one here in Ontario as Jeff Gordon passes Rob Moroso on the final lap. Moroso ends up finishing in 4th. Yeah, Jeff got pissed and you all say he should get booted to another team. Perhaps that's, maybe it could be a foreshadow what's to come for 99. Jeff Gordon there. You never know. How about Jeff Gordon? What a run he made there on the final lap. That was incredible. And I'm sure you guys probably would have lost it if Rusty somehow won. I was getting worried too. I was like, oh gosh, you guys aren't going to be happy. So, oh man, that was fun. That was a solid race. That was provided a good finish, even with all the pit strategies going on. So, I guess Moroso's car just was not set up well for the long run. And the adjustments did not pay off for him. And he's going to finish in 4th. Low, we all made fun of him. Again, you never know. It could foreshadow 99. You just never know. So yeah, Jeff Gordon first, Wallace second, Petty third, Moroso fourth, Marlin fifth, Kawicki sixth, Nemechek seventh, Richmond eighth, Robinson ninth, Jeff Green 10th. And there's the rest of your finishing order and all that good stuff. So, oh man, that was a fun finish. That was really exciting. All right, so yeah, we'll see if again, I think he'll be a driver to watch in 99 for sure. So yeah, if you guys have any other ideas for future stream races, or again, you see the pinned comment there, be sure to submit your submit tracks for the off-season playoffs, the little SNL 1998 playoff thing we're doing. So be sure to do that. I'll make some posts about it. You got till Tuesday to submit those, by the way, so you just got a couple more days to do that. Rusty wins his 5th championship next year. Dear God, I hope I don't jinx it. I mean, at this rate, Rusty could win 7 championships. He could, but again, we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of good drivers, so we'll wait and see. Mac tonight wins in the daylight. Yeah, kind of weird how that works out, huh? Yeah, this stream has gone on for 2 hours and almost 45 minutes. Oh my goodness. Since now I got a call and I'm actually going into work tomorrow, I'll try and wrap things up within the next few minutes. Rusty Verstappen versus Lando Gordon. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys again for tuning into this stream as always. It's been a lot of fun. And, yeah. So again, if you guys have any more questions regarding anything, feel free to ask them now. Or as they would say, forever hold your peace. Yeah. As always, thank you for the support. Again, the video for Sunday Night Lights 98, that video is getting close to 2,000, which is awesome. Seriously, thank you. It means a lot. And as always, thank you to Jets Racing Designs for all his help, as well as Rose Jam and Ferris. And, of course, you guys, too. And stay tuned for an announcement regarding the next Racing Infinity as well. And, of course, SNL 99 updates as well. And we'll go from there. And then, of course, the mini-series we'll do on stream for the playoffs, for the little playoffs we're doing. So stay tuned for all that. I'll give another minute here or so, and then I'll hop off for the night. Oh, man. And of course, I hope you guys have a wonderful week as well, and look forward to seeing what happens next week. Wait, everyone, quick, make fun of Kyle Petty so he wins. Oh, Kyle Busch. Okay. Again, it'd be cool to see him continue his... for him to continue the streak that he has dating back to his rookie season. So, for sure. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here, guys. Again, thank you all so much for watching and tuning in. It's been a lot of fun tonight, seriously. Appreciate all the support. It's been fun chatting with you guys, and we'll continue to do these. And, yep, stay tuned for more updates on what's next for... this channel and everything else. And of course, I mentioned be sure to check out the Speed Reign Supreme podcast. It's its own channel, Speed Reign Supreme. Stay tuned for a new episode when we sit down and chat with Brayton Laster and all that good stuff. So, yeah, thank you guys so much as always, and I will see you all next time, and have a wonderful night.